Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was tasked by the speaker to introduce her for only two sentences lang. Now, for the objective of this session is that to define and what are the implications of the label no approved therapeutic claims. Our speaker will be providing us a background of the products that acquired that labeling and how this sector is being regulated and monitored for safety. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the ever beautiful and very active Dr. Esperanza Cabral.
My topic for this afternoon is no therapeutic claims. So we are going to be discussing the laws regarding food supplements, the commonly used food supplements and herbal medicines. We are also going to review the reasons why people are using herbal medicines. We are going to describe the risks that we take from the consumption of food supplements and herbal medicines and what we can do to keep our patients safe. The term that we use for this group of substances vary. In Canada, for example, they are called natural products. In the Philippines and in the European Union, they are termed food supplements. In the United States, they are called dietary supplements, and so on and so on. But they all mean the same thing. And according to the definition that will be used in the ASEAN harmonization, a health supplement, which is their term for food supplement or herbal medicine or dietary supplement, is any product that is used to supplement a diet and to maintain, enhance, and improve the healthy functions of the human body. It can contain one or more of the following. It can be a vitamin, it can contain minerals, amino acids, fatty acids, enzymes, probiotics, and other bioactive substances. It can be a substance derived from natural sources, including animal, mineral, and botanical materials, or a combination of these things, or synthetic forms of these things. Usually, they are presented in small oral doses as capsules, tablets, powders, liquids, and they exclude parenteral preparations such as injectables or eye drops or things like that. Each country has its own regulatory mechanism for food supplements or dietary supplements. In the United States, for example, they define a dietary supplement as a product taken by mouth and contains a dietary ingredient intended to supplement the diet. And it contains one or more of the things that we previously enumerated. In the United States, herbs are classified as dietary supplements. And these dietary supplements, including herbal medicines, are not regulated like drugs because legally they are not drugs. Manufacturers can market supplements without proof of safety or efficacy. And while manufacturers are responsible for product safety, the manufacturers don't actually need US FDA approval to sell these products. And it is the FDA that must prove that the product is unsafe in order to remove it from the market. There are no established dosage guidelines and there are no purity restrictions to dietary supplements. So that in fact some of these contain or are contaminated with street drugs. Therefore, the US FDA has determined that all dietary supplements must carry what used to be no therapeutic claims approved. Okay. Several years ago, they changed this into this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent a disease. In the Philippines, we have our own regulatory scheme for food supplements, as we call them. And the legal basis is Republic Act 9711 or the Food and Drugs Administration Act of 2009, which renamed the Bureau of Food and Drugs or the BFAD into the FDA or Food and Drug Administration of the Philippines and strengthened its regulatory powers, resources, and capabilities to efficiently and expeditiously perform its mandate. Under this law, in the Philippines, a drug means an article intended for use in the diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease, or an article intended to affect the structure of any function of the body of humans or animals, or an article intended to be used as a component of any of the articles specified in the first two classes, but it does not include devices or their components. So you see that, in fact, certain substances can be classified as both a drug and a food supplement. Vitamins and minerals, for example, are classified as drugs when the therapeutic claim made for the preparation is for a specific vitamin deficiency, state, or disease. When the strength per dosage form is more than 105% of the recommended daily allowance for fat-soluble and greater than 150% of the recommended daily allowance for water-soluble vitamins. When it is in a pharmaceutical dosage form, like a tablet or a capsule, when it is highly purified, and when there are additional pharmacologically active ingredients. The same vitamin can be classified as a food supplement when its indication, so when it applies for marketing as a food supplement. Okay? And in this case, the strength of the dosage form is less than 105% of the recommended daily allowance for fat-soluble and less than 150% of the recommended daily allowance for water-soluble vitamins. On the other hand, the definition of herbal medicines or food supplements are finished medicinal products that contain as active ingredients aerial or underground parts of plants or any plant material or combination thereof, whether in the crude state or as plant preparations. They are not intended for use in the diagnosis, alleviation, cure, or treatment of disease, promotion of health, or intended to affect or modify the structure or function of the body of humans or animals. If the preparation contains plant materials that are chemically defined therapeutically active substances, they are not considered to be herbal medicines or food supplements. We have what we call traditionally used herbal products, and by definition, they are these preparations whose application is based on traditional experience of long usage, meaning 50 years or more, as documented in medical, historical, and ethnological literature. There are currently 10 traditionally used herbal products that are approved for sale. One is Yerba Buena, another one is Chaang Gubat, another one is Ulasimang Bato, Nyugnyugan, Sambong, ampalaya, guava, lagundi, garlic, and Acapulco for various types of minor symptoms. Lagundi, for example, used to be indicated as an expectorant, and now they say it's also a cough suppressant as well as an anti-respiratory viral illness. I'm not sure where they got the scientific support for this, but this is how it is being used traditionally according to the herbalists, and that is how they are listed. The regulation of herbal products in the country comes under guidelines on registration, which was put out by the government in 2004. No product can be registered as an herbal medicine if there is a valid report of adverse drug reaction on the use of the plant material, if there is a valid report of abuse or dependence potential on the use of the plant material, or if it contains a chemically defined therapeutically active substance. Like in the United States, the Food and Drug Administration in the country also used to require a label on the packaging materials of these food supplements and herbal medicines that says no approved therapeutic claims. Okay? So, bottles and packages of these food supplements carry this particular warning. But many people who use food supplements and herbal medicines don't actually understand what no approved therapeutic claims means. You can ask them and they will have different interpretations of this English term. So, at some point in 2010, the FDA put out warnings in the national language saying that these dietary or food supplements are not medicines and should not be used as medicines for any type of disease or illness. Here is another version of the warning, this time from the Department of Health. It seemed, however, that it was necessary to put out an order to state that because these people need to understand that dietary and food supplements are not medicines and are not intended to diagnose, prevent, or cure any disease, these food supplements, by virtue of AO 8 series of 2010, were ordered to put instead mahalagang paalala ang the name of the product ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting gamot para sa anumang uri ng sakit. At syempre, merong pushback from the herbal medicine industry. Okay? And the herbal medicine industry, through their association, were able to get a temporary restraining order right away so that this administrative order was not implemented until sometime in 2014, late 2014, when the Court of Appeals upheld the DOH rule on the no approved therapeutic claim tag on supplements. And they stated that henceforth, all food and dietary supplement products sold in the market must carry this phrase in the national language. The Department of Health considered this a legal victory for truth in advertising. Thankfully, the herbal industry did not contest the decision of the Court of Appeals before the Supreme Court. So the Food and Drug Administration was free to put out a memorandum circular stating that now they must follow the order. If we look at whether the herbal industry actually followed the order or not, we can see mixed results. For example, here is an example of an advertisement for 3 kinds of food supplements, but they do state the warning that they were supposed to state. However, it's hard to make out what the warning is because malabo yung print, okay, compared to the print of the actual bottles. I was actually always also happy to see one day while I was driving through Buendia, a bus advertising Rhino herbal tea, which I think is an herbal type of Viagra. Okay. But it also carried the notice right there that this was not a medicine and that this was not intended to be used as a medicine. So, minsan merong compliance, minsan wala, minsan partial yung compliance, minsan hindi. Okay? You also will probably notice that before, there was a plethora of advertisements on TV, right, about these herbal medicines, carrying in small font the no therapeutic claims approved warning. These days, halos walang nag-a-advertise na herbal medicines compared to before. And most of them actually carry the Tagalog warning already. Some, however, still don't. Okay, like this mangosteen preparation. Okay. It still carries the English warning, no approved therapeutic claims. Some of their advertising materials don't actually carry the warning. That is not our only problem as far as food supplements and herbal medicines are concerned, because in the Philippines, there are in fact very many food supplements and herbal medicines that are being sold that are not registered with the Food and Drug Administration. For example, this Sehat Badan coffee, okay? And it's very popular, particularly in the South. And on analysis, it contains diclofenac, paracetamol, and ibuprofen. So, para kay ko, marami ng kidneys na nasisira dito sa Sehat Badan na ito. So you can see that Food and Drug Administrations all over, not just in the United States, where they have to be the ones to prove that a food supplement is unsafe, but also in the Philippines. FDAs have fought for decades to regulate supplements, but have been defeated politically and economically by the supplement industry. If you go back to the history of herbal remedies, you will see that this has been around for thousands of years. The Egyptians were the first to codify herbal remedies. The Chinese also tested hundreds of herbs and passed their knowledge about plants and poisons to others from 2,000 years ago. Greeks also have an herbal guide, and in the United States, in the Americas, herbalism is deeply tied to spiritualism and spread among tribe to tribe. Well, not all supplements are bad. There are in fact some useful supplements, okay? And Examples are the vitamins and the minerals, particularly if you have a deficiency disorder, you are certainly justified in taking them. And since there is not much harm to these vitamins and minerals, they're used for a supplement. Kasi sasabihin ng mga nagtitinda ng vitamins ay with the kind of lifestyle we have and the diet that we have, we don't know whether we are deficient in these vitamins and minerals. So in order to safeguard our health, let's take a multivitamin. There are even some supplements that have some, not a lot, but some evidence of efficacy. For example, fish oil or omega-3 fatty acids, capsaicin, which is a pepper preparation, glucosamine, and ginkgo. But the truth is, if they are not useless, they are also unsafe. Okay? And people always think that because it is quote-unquote a natural product, it must be safe. That is, of course, not true, as this list of natural products that are harmful to ourselves will tell you. There is an herb called kava, which is used widely in many countries as an anxiolytic. Later on, these patients will have yellowing of their eyes and will find out that their liver is necrosing. Medicines like Aristolochia, which is used for arthritis and water retention, can produce kidney damage. Mahuang or ephedra is widely used as a weight loss preparation, but can result in death and cardiovascular events. Several decades ago, when you were not yet born, I think, a tea called comfrey tea became very popular until we found out that it can cause liver cancer. And even ginkgo, which we say can sometimes be useful for improving memory and cognition, can be associated with side effects such as excessive bleeding. And this is a list of a few more of those herbal preparations that can cause harm and sometimes death. Not only do they cause these harmful effects by themselves, they can also do this by interacting with the drugs, with the mainstream drugs that patients are taking. For example, St. John's wort, which is an herbal preparation very often used for depression, interacts with many other antidepressants such as amitriptyline. It can interact with the anticonvulsants and with the antihistamines and the benzodiazepines and so forth and so on. And you can go down the list. Even garlic can interact with aspirin, certain antiretroviral medicines, and an anticoagulant, warfarin. Unfortunately, 40 to 70% of our patients do not inform us about their use of alternative therapies. And they actually don't know that these medicines have adverse effects. They don't know that these medicines do not have standardization for nomenclature and chemical constituents, for mixtures. It's difficult to identify their ingredients or maybe don't have any active ingredient, and it's easy and prevalent that they are contaminated. So the National Council Against Health Frauds actually has this to say. Herbal remedies not only waste funds, but on occasion poison and kill. And they do even greater harm to the fools who take them because they often at the same time are not treating a serious medical condition scientifically. Books could be filled with the controlled studies that have failed to find significant value to herbal remedies. In the Philippines, I looked at the list of the FDA. There are literally thousands of food supplements. Thousands, not just hundreds, thousands. Okay? They all say that they are not gamot and should not be used as gamot. But of course, people think otherwise. Okay? Oh, yan. These are examples of the herbal preparations and food supplements that we have in the country. But if herbals have not been proven to be effective for preventing, diagnosing, or treating a disease and may be harmful, why do people keep taking them? Well, we have to analyze the environment in which we live in. And in the past few years, there have been increasing concern about food safety issues, quality and cost of healthcare. People are more health conscious and aware of lifestyle-related diseases. People demand for disease prevention products and services. There is an increase in self-medication and a demand for health and wellness products. Why is this? It's because very often they are disappointed with the current conventional therapy. They fear the safety and long-term effects of the drugs that we give them. They think that the drugs are not effective. They think that herbal products are safe because they are derived from nature. They're influenced by their next door neighbor who says, "Oh, I'm taking this particular herbal medicine. I'm feeling good. You take it too." And because they desire to control their own health, they are always ready to believe each and every claim, no matter how false, are presented to them. Of course, the demand is stimulated by aggressive marketing campaigns, including television and radio commercials, usually involving Filipino celebrities, but sometimes involving even doctors. Meron pa nga ako nakita director ng heart center dati. Nag-advertise ng food supplement. Okay. So many people will keep taking food supplements. What can we as healthcare providers do to make it less risky for them? Well, we should routinely ask patients about their use of herbal products and food supplements and give them advice about these products. And I'll tell you how we can advise them later on. We should also be reporting these adverse effects to the Food and Drug Administration and writing up and submitting case reports for these patients. Sabi nga nila, kasi marami tayong ginagawa, busy tayo, hayaan na lang natin yung iba. Sabi nga, all it takes for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And that applies for many, many things. Okay, as a clinician, what advice can we give to consumers? Well, we should tell them that they should not assume that herbal medicines are safe just because they are natural. We should tell them not to take herbal remedies if they are pregnant or attempting to be pregnant or are breastfeeding, and not to give herbal preparations to children. We should advise them not to take large quantities for prolonged periods. Kung hindi mapigil, konti lang at saka sandali lang. Buy only products that identify active ingredients and state contraindications for use. We should tell them that there are dangerous herbs and advise them about this. But first, we have to know what those dangerous herbs are. Kasi kung kasing ignorante din tayo ng pasyente natin, wala tayong pwedeng ma-advise sa kanila. We should tell them to check with us before they take herbal preparations. I have patients who will come with me and say, Doc, pwede ko bang gamitin itong herbal supplement A? So I will say, naku, wag kasi masama yan. And then they will say, nabili ko na ho eh. Okay. Do not tell them not to trust practitioners or celebrities. Particularly if the practitioner says he's a herbalist or herb doctor or herbologist or master herbalist or natural health counselor. Okay? Those are not recognized specialties in medicine. And we should tell them to beware of exaggerated claims about the benefits of these preparations. We should tell them that drug-herbal interactions occur, that herbal medicines are not standardized, lack quality control and regulation, and ulit, tell us if they are using it. Okay? So, if we do this, we might be able to prevent some of the harm that food supplements may give to our patients. Not all, but at least we can do a little of those things. If all else fails, tell them to just drink their mother's chicken soup. Thank you very much.